What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Real.Raw.Uncut. It's episode 28, and I'm with my dog Jamal. Man, how you been, big dog?
Man, it's been going by great for me. How about yourself?
Shit, I've been blessed, man. I cannot complain, bro. You want to go ahead and explain to the audience? We'll get right into it, bro. A little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you are, pretty much, man.
Well, I am Jamal Branch. A lot of people call me London or whatever. I got many names. And when it comes down to the things that I do Forex. I'm an independent trader. I don't do all that recruiting stuff. And I rent out cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's Forex for the audience that is watching that doesn't know what that is?
That is foreign exchange. If you know what trading is, then it's just another form of trading. You basically put the euro against the Canadian dollar and place a bet per se of which one you believe is going to go up or down.
Gotcha. So it has nothing to do with like NFTs or anything like that?
You can trade that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, what's your thoughts on NFTs? Because I've read a little bit about it. I haven't gotten too much into it, but I find all that metaverse shit hella crazy though.
It's definitely great to get into. Now, I'm not a pro at it.
Yeah.
But it authenticates things. It makes things original. So let's just say you're some famous legend and you have a pair of shoes out. You could put like an NFT, or in other words, some type of coding into that shoe to where you can say, this is from me. You get what I'm saying? And if somebody gets that, they can, I guess, like scan the code or something like that. And it goes through this whole chain of things to let people know that this is the authentic version of you. Like this really came from you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you ever invest into Doge whenever it was at its peak?
No.
No. You missed out on that one?
It wasn't a miss out. It was just that I was so focused on what I already had going on. I just didn't want to overstretch myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. So pretty much in long story short, given what you do, you're kind of like self-employed.
Yes.
Yeah. That's dope. How's the car stuff going?
Oh man, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like it's very simple, man. You just get you some cars. It doesn't even, as long as they're well taken care of, they look nice, and they're somewhat up to date, man. People are okay.
Do you get your vehicles from the auction?
Yeah. That's where I would recommend anybody to start. Get them from the auction. Like I say, make sure they're nice. It don't matter if it's a 2008, 7. Like some of these people, they just need a car just to go somewhere. So
I got a question because my pops used to do that back in the day. Excuse me. And one issue he used to have was, well, I don't know how you do it whenever, with your vehicles, but I know there's times where he had customers that can pay full in cash, but then he had customers that he was able to finance to. So they'll put like a down payment down, and then he will still like get monthly payments from them. But he quickly came across the issue where now he had folks that just wouldn't ever pay up. I don't know if that's something that you came across yet.
Oh, no. For you to get my car, everything has to be paid.
Everything? Yeah. So they have to like have the cash up front. Okay, cool. That's dope. That's good. What's the most expensive car you sold so far?
Well, as of now, all my cars are just economy cars.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not high up there yet. Like I said, I'm just renting.
Yeah.
So the way how you do it, for you to even get to that level, just have a good ground of economy cars, like 710, and no notes on them. Like I say, if you can, get them from the auction. If you can't pay it all up, go ahead. And then after you have a good ground set of 710 cars, like I say, they're going to stay out.
Yeah.
They're going to stay out. And then you use those cars to get you the higher end cars like Lexus, Mercedes, you know what I'm saying? Not the high end Lexus and Mercedes, but just nicer cars. And you can get those from the dealership. Of course, you want to gonna use credit for that. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to use your cash. You know what I'm saying? As they say, man, use other people's money to get you up. You know what I'm saying? And then after that's good, your cars, the economies, they're going to be paying for that. Yeah. But if it's not going out, you're still going to be good. You know what I'm saying? And then once those cars get their traction and going on, then you can get to the higher and higher and higher.
Gotcha. No, that's dope. What got you into doing what you're doing right now?
Well, my Forex was going by good, and I just needed to expand, really.
Gotcha.
And at first, I wasn't willing to do it because I'm like, man, it's cars, man. There's so much stuff that you have to think about, like, what if somebody get in a wreck? What if this? What if?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, things that come with fears is just because you don't know the solution to it.
For sure.
After I learned the solutions to it, man, there's basically almost no downs to this.
Okay.
Like, when you got your setup down, if people wreck your car, you'll make money from it.
No shit.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Like, because they got to come out of that. And I use my cars off of Turo. So if something happens, like, all you got to do, you just document all your stuff, take all your pictures. If they beat your car up, you just show them, hey, look, this is what you did. You did in my rent. Like, okay, so like 3 weeks ago, somebody messed up 2 of my rims, took the hubcaps off. Like, I mean, they damaged that sucker so bad. Let her know. I said, hey, according to what you did, it's going to cost around this much. She actually paid it.
No shit.
Yeah. And if she didn't, Turo was going to pay me, and then they was going to handle her. So no matter what, I'm going to get my money.
That's good. So you always have your security. So that's good. Mm-hmm. That's dope. No, that's smart, bro. That's real smart. What got you into doing what you do as far as investing your money in was it Forex?
So before I had a gym, and the gym was going by good. It's just that it took up so much of my time.
Yeah.
And also, that was also the beginning of my journey of becoming self-employed and having a business and all that stuff. So my knowledge was really low, but my growth was really fast. So in other words, it was taking off faster than what I could handle. And so eventually I had ended up losing it for just lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just lack of knowledge and lack of securities.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I want to get into something else because it's taking up too much of my time. So if I have 6-7 people scheduled for personal training, that's 6-7 hours of my time I'm spending with these people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, look, I need something to where it can grow on its own. I don't have to spend too much time on it. Forex was a great answer. All I got to do is get my little strategy on, check my computer for a little while, make my decision, and just be patient and let it go.
I like that. I like that. At the beginning, and I'm only asking this question because I know there's other folks that, you know, eventually have something in mind, like a certain goal that they want to do, but they got that fear in them, you know, of taking that risk because of what they may lose, right? So whenever you start, you know, investing your money into something like, let's say, Forex, that's always a risk, right?
Correct.
So what helped you get over that fear of that risk of getting into something that, you know, you're investing your money to, but you don't have that guarantee 100% that you're going to get at least your money's back or more?
Man, pretty much nothing is guaranteed, man. Everything is a risk. Everything is a risk reward balance.
Gotcha.
And I live my life based on that all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So staying on top of with Forex. So it's like after you make your decisions and you do everything, you should have a risk reward. So it should be, okay, if I lose, I'll lose. I'm willing to lose, let's just say $30. But if I win, according to my calculations, it'll be $70.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So always make sure that your reward is greater than your risk. And that's with anything in life.
For sure.
Because I feel like, I ain't gonna even say I feel like, I know that many people get so excited off of something when it turns out not even to be that great. So let's just say it's a relationship or something. Man, many people will end up spending time with this girl or this guy, and they end up putting out too much. And that could be, and when I say too much, that could be either finances, money, time, you know, whatever. You put out too much, and then when you don't get what you expected, now you're hurt.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But if you would have did a risk reward, like, okay, I'm spending time with this woman. Okay, I'm willing to spend $40 on this date and spend 3 hours with her. And let's just say it doesn't go well. You're like, I'm okay. I only spent $40.
Yeah.
I only spent 3 hours of my time. I was willing to give that.
Yeah.
But some people, they be going in headstrong, and they like, man, I done spent $300. I
ain't getting no ass, no nothing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you didn't do a risk reward. Now you hurt.
I like that. I like that. So I like that you're saying what you said, and I'm gonna take that example real quick, and I'm gonna spin it off onto something else. So I got a homie right now, and he's at a point where he's taking this year to really focus on himself, right? But he hit a little, I'll call it an obstacle, just to you can get a better understanding of it. But he started talking to this chick, and they both started vibing, and they're spending a lot more time together. So he recently hit me up and was like, man, I feel like now I'm neglecting my goals and what I want because I'm spending too much time with her. So what would you advise him in that situation where now he's focusing on this chick a lot more and neglecting all the goals that he had for this year?
Yeah, he's gonna have to put a balance in on everything.
Gotcha.
And the only hesitation that would come from that is the fear of losing the woman. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, if you end up having fear of losing a woman, then you should also have the fear of losing out on the things that you wish to obtain in your own life.
Yeah.
Which one is more important?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So okay, you might end up getting the woman, but now you're not going to be able to do the things that you would like to do with her because you end up lacking in the things that you want to obtain. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Yeah.
So
I like that.
You got to figure out which one is more important.
Okay. I like that. So, one thing about you, man, and I know, we've hung out, but we never really got to do what we're doing now, have these a sit down conversation one-on-one deep like this. But, and I'm not doing it just because, there's a camera with lights on. I'm doing this because it's genuinely coming from the heart. But I just want to let you know that I've always admired a lot of things about you, and I know, like you mentioned earlier, you had at one point your own gym. You was a personal trainer, and then I want to say shortly after that, I know you had a CBD shop.
Oh yeah, the CBD store. Yeah.
The CBD shop, and I remember that. And then doing what you do, I want to say I peeped it on Facebook first when you was getting into the cars and shit. I didn't even know about the Forex, but man, good shit on that, bro. I've always admired that, and like I said, bro, I've been watching you do your videos, whether it was comedy skits or whether it was just sitting down trying to educate people on certain topics. I genuinely admire these certain things about you, and the few interactions that we've had in person, I never took you being distant and very quiet to yourself any kind of way other than you really, really protect your energy. I can tell, bro, you don't be all involved in all the little small talks, a little gossip and shit. You really stick to yourself dolo, and I genuinely admire that shit, bro, because that's something that just this year, me personally, I've been trying to work on, which is my energy. And man, shout out Kevin Gates, bro. He had a episode on the podcast recently this year, and that's when it kind of hit me, and I started looking into it. But he was talking about how people, their frequency levels, their energy levels are different frequencies at different times. So he gave the example, man, if I go to a restaurant, I sit down, and I noticed the waiter, her frequency level ain't matching mine, it's real low. I'll tip the waiter and I'll leave. You know what I'm saying? And I genuinely a lot of shit like that goes over most people's heads, but I see what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Because he may be having an amazing day. His energy level is there at a high frequency, and then he encounters someone that's polar opposite to him. Now, what happens most of the time, let's say you got a couple that's arguing when you're out with the whole group. It brings the whole vibe down. So kind of like him, he didn't want that vibe to bring him down. So I say all that to say I genuinely admire that. I've always noticed that that's part of you. That's part of your character, your personality, is you protecting your energy. I've peeped that, bro, and it's not easy to do because most people strive off let's just say attention or just, I guess, that recognition of others. They want to be involved in those conversations, or they want to be involved in all the gossip and this and that. I could tell you don't care for none of that shit, bro, and it seems like you're doing very well for yourself, and you seem genuinely happy. And man, I can't do nothing but respect and tip my hat off to that, man. For real.
Yeah. Man, it was a journey, man. Like, am I happy? Yes. Am I at peace? Yes. But there still are disturbances within myself. And that's with anybody. You know, it doesn't matter how anything looks. You know what I'm saying? Never put past nothing from anybody. You know, so a person may be at high energy levels, you know, in certain areas of their life.
Yeah.
But there's always some voids. There's always some things that they wish to fulfill that they're trying to release. And I'm there. Anybody's there. You know, I could probably ask you, you know, are you happy in a couple areas? Of course, you're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
I could also ask, is there some things you want to change? Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to truly come to peace of all things that are around you, and then understand energies and knowing yourself. And when I say knowing yourself, I mean that into the form of knowing the body that you're living in. Because knowing yourself is not just, oh, I like this is the career path I wish to choose, and I don't want to hang out with blase and blase. Knowing yourself is knowing how to communicate with your body to understand the things of which you should and should not be doing, and the things that you should and should not be around. Because yes, it's good to protect your energies. Yes, it is good to give out, but sometimes you must retain some things and have retention towards some things. So when it comes down to energies, man, you got to break it down to the molecular point and break it down into the elemental things. So the things that they teach you in science class, they may be very basic, but they're also very true at the same time. So when it comes down to magnetism and the law of attraction, man, you want to break that down into the molecular. So you got the neutron, the electron, and the proton. So the neutron is the big ball, and then as they would make it in science class, the electron would be the blue, proton would be the red. And what do? They circulate around these things. I mean, they circulate around the neutron. And if you look at our planetary system, what is it that looks like? It's the sun, and then you have these planets looking around, circling around this. The reason why I make that example is because if you look throughout history, why is it that when it comes down to the Sumerian history, the Egyptian history, the Greek history, it seems like everything that they did and looked at and everything that they named is after some type of god, some type of planetary deity. Some type of planet or some type of star. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at a lot of the words that we have today, it is based off of some type of god, planet, or star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then a lot of the beliefs that we believe nowadays, they say the same things, but in different forms. They'll say, as it is above, so shall it be below. And when they say that, they're saying below as in the core of your systems. If you understand the core of your system, you'll understand the things that are outside of you. How is it that the very same things that are outside in the cosmos are the very same things that are inside of you? How is it that the very same things in the cosmos move the exact same way that are inside of you? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to magnetism, when it comes down to emotions is actually an abbreviation of energies in motion. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at the electron, once it begins to move in its motion, move around that neutron, now it ends up making it has a magnetic field, and it draws things into it. Same as us. How is it that you can sit there, I can sit here, and have absolutely no emotion? Like, you're just neutral. You're not happy, you're not sad, you're not angry.
Yeah.
But I can speak some words, and all of a sudden you feel that charge. It's because of the vibrations. It's because of everything that you surround yourself with. You absorb light, you absorb vibrations, you absorb sound, you absorb the things that you eat. Your body is a sponge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you must protect and be weary of the things that you surround yourself with, because that's what you are charging yourself with. It's just like I say, it's just like the world around you. You have two magnets, they're either going to push or pull. And then once you have that charge, if you're wearing all this fur and you rub your socks on the ground, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you touch that metal, bam, there's a spark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've charged yourself with something, but you end up touching the wrong thing. That charge that you had, boom, is now gone.
Yeah.
Same thing with life.
I like that, man. I know one thing you mentioned a little bit earlier is like, you know, you asked, you know, My happy, yeah. My peace, yeah. But there's also some disturbances.
Yeah.
Now, there's a book that I've been reading recently, and I recommend it to you. But it's called Three Magic Words. I don't know if you have or haven't read it, but it really gets deep and very like to the core of your subconscious mind, right? And I've always preached this to everybody, but we have no idea as humans like how powerful our mind truly is.
Correct.
And in this book, it's very interesting because it talks about in our subconscious mind, there's a lot of things that could have happened during our adolescence that were probably traumatic to us, and we didn't realize it, but subconsciously they fuck with us now that we're older. So it's why people carry themselves a certain way or act a certain way.
Correct.
Or are a certain way, is because they have these traumas subconsciously in the back of their mind that they just haven't come face to face with and gotten over. So
Correct.
this year is something that I've been focusing a lot more is meditating. So I've been trying to meditate a lot more to where I can genuinely tap in and face all these traumas that I have in my subconscious mind and try to clear it as much as possible, which is what has helped me be at peace right now. Like, am I happy? I mean, I would say yes, but again, I'd have to also agree there's also things that I feel like I can also work on.
Correct.
But nonetheless, though, I feel like given that I've tapped in my subconscious mind and I've been facing face to face with a lot of these past traumas that I didn't even know of, I think that's really helped me give off a better energy just in general. So like now I feel like when people are around me, it's not as negative as it may have been back then. You know what I'm saying? They get more of a positive vibe off of me, and it's almost like radiates off to them. And same thing, like I think one of the biggest things when it comes to when our body gets energized through food. And I think that's one of the main things that people don't realize is it's very important what the fuck you put into your body. You know what I'm saying? All these fast food, most restaurants, if not all, like that shit ain't healthy for you. It's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't know if you Dr. Sebi. Bro, Dr. Sebi's a motherfucking genius. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of things like grab a gallon of milk. It's so crazy if you look at the label and you see all the ingredients on it. That shit's supposed to be straight from the cow. You know what I'm saying? And I've had straight from the cow milk. That shit's warm and it's not good. Like it tastes like shit, but it's straight natural because it's coming from the cow. Which is why like this year I've started, I don't drink your regular milk. I drink coconut milk. You read the ingredients, it's literally water and coconut. You know what I'm saying? So I think that has also played another major role into why I've been able to feel just so high on life and so at peace, is because now I'm starting to take care more of my body. And it's only been about a month and a half, but nonetheless, it's made a significant difference within this month and a half. And one of the biggest things, you being a previous personal trainer, I just recently got one myself too. And one thing that he says is like people should treat their body as if it's a vehicle, and it's the only vehicle you'll have for your whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? If people really had like whatever vehicle you have right now, and they were to tell you that's the only one you're gonna have for the rest of your life, you're gonna be doing your oil changes every 3,000 miles. You're gonna be rotating, balancing your tires. You're gonna be maintenance to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't ever want that car to fail on you. So why not treat our bodies the exact same way? Because it is the only body you're gonna have till you're gone. And so I started taking all that shit a lot more serious this year. And I think overall though, man, for people watching and all the viewers, I think that there's a lot of things that I've learned just this year, reading more into energies and even spiritually, like a lot of things too, that once you start educating yourself more, and the biggest thing is you can read something and whatnot, but if you don't practice and apply, then you're retaining that information almost for nothing. It's nice to know it, but there's certain things that once you practice and apply them, huge difference. Now whatever you're reading, now you see that it's actually true. So I know that's another thing that I wanted to touch on base with you was I know that speaking, you know, with we got mutual friend, just so everyone knows, that's how I know Jamal is mutual friend, my boy Johnny. Shout out to that ugly ass motherfucker. But but now I know like you probably had, and I won't speak for you, but you know, probably had not the best upbringing, you know what I'm saying? But given the adolescence you had and probably your teenage years, how did you get to going down that path to where you're at now? Because I know, and the reason I asked that, because I know for me, a lot of my past life has played a role to right now me being able to switch my mindset and be a whole 180 of what I used to be. The person I am now is nowhere near what I used to. It's like a whole different person. You know what I'm saying? So I know you could probably relate to that. So how did you get from that to now? And if there was anything that helped, you know, any certain situations that were dramatic that helped change your, you know, viewpoint on life to get to where you're at now?
Observance. I would say observance was my best teacher. The things that I know today, man, it has nothing to do with my parents or any of that. My parents were, you know, I always say if parenting was like a package deal, you know what I'm saying, I got the bronze.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they were bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, they, you know, there's some parents you see, you like, man, I would have liked mines to do that.
Yeah.
Mines didn't do that. It was just simple, just, you know, they took care of me. They fed me, gave me a place to live.
Yeah.
And, you know, seldomly they would, you know, do a couple things for me. But besides that, there wasn't any hard teachings. But it was just observation and simply just growing up, dealing with little just adolescent things that I didn't want to do or wish didn't happen to me. And I always thought to myself, okay, how can I make this not happen again?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It would be little things like that. And like I said, observance, man. So just a quick summary from all the way from then to now. As a kid, I was always a loving kid.
Okay.
You know, like I'd hate it when people would kill bugs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, well, just leave him alone. He outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, moving on up, I always wanted to be great because a lot of the people that I was around, they were like good at almost everything that they did. I had a friend, his name was Stephen Crane. He could draw phenomenally. You know what I'm saying? I had some other friends that could also draw. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to compete with them. I'd always lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the neighborhood I was growing up in, I was the fastest. I went to another school, I wasn't the fastest no more. You know what I'm saying? So it was always a competition to always be great, only because that's just how I imagined myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And then eventually at me failing at those things, I said to myself, man, as long as I can help people, I'll be happy. Then I've always imagined myself to be this wise person. You know what I'm saying? So eventually I had constructed my life to be as such. So I always read and studied all kinds of different things. One thing that I say to myself is I don't believe to know everything, just a little of it. You know what I'm saying? Just a little of everything. So I just always wanted to do that. So it was just observance that just taught me, and being wrong and learning how to always be right, because I want to always be right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm always right, but I want to always be
like
right.
that.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Nah, I genuinely like that, man, because you know, there's a lot of folks in this life, bro, that just they have a bad adolescence, right? Or even then, like, let's just say for you, you know, I can see what you're saying with the type parents. Yeah, you choose bronze, but there's people that have a bad adolescence, or maybe not even bad, but they take it as bad because that's how they're perceiving it, and they let all that shit fuck with them as they're growing up, and they carry that on even to adulthood.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And would you say that, given, you know, you feeling like you had gold, bronze package parents, do you feel like, I know you're a father, do you feel like you're at that same level or higher than that? in your own opinion?
As my parents,
Like giving, like rating yourself as a parent, yeah.
Right. I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not how they were.
Gotcha.
I'll put it like that. So, sure. Even if I had to rate myself as a parent now, man, like I'd give myself a bronze because
Yeah.
there's so much more I know that I could do. But at the same time, I know what I'm trying to do. What I'm doing now is going to get me to where I want, of what I want to do.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like Mayweather. I don't remember how long he said he sacrificed. I'm not sure if it was 5 or 7 years. I don't remember. But he sacrificed a lot of years with his kid so he can give her the life she has now. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, I've been through so much with my child's mother. So I think you met her one time. So
yeah,
you know, she's from Colombia.
Yeah, your little girl is beautiful, by the way. Nah, I do. She's the cutest, bro.
Yeah, so she's from Colombia. You know, she came over here. I helped both of them come over here because my child, she was born over there. She stayed over there for 1 year. So she came over here, and everything was all right. And like at the time I met her, I still didn't know myself. You know what I'm saying? Both bodily and just typically what I wanted to do in life. You know what I'm saying? She had met me at the time of me learning, changing, and still developing of what I wanted to do. And so it became hard because as I'm changing, she's not observing and learning to grow with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a constant, oh, you're not the same anymore. Just because I'm not the same, it doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that I'm learning and developing, and now I'm spending that time with myself. You know, so it would, I'd relate it to the guy that you was saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? He had took some time off for his girl. Now for me, I had took that time off already. Now I'm taking time away from her. I got you now.
Yeah.
You here. We living together.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut that time a little bit so I can work on me. And like she was looking at it as like I'm retracting from her. And it wasn't that. It was just that, man, now I'm in development. I've learned my path. And so I had spent a lot of time away from them because I know what I'm trying to do. And a lot of people did not like that. My mother, everybody. It was always, man, Jamal, you doing this, you doing that, you're not doing this, what's going on, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But it was never a question to, is everything all right? What's going on? It was never a question to cater. It was never a question to console and to make sure that I'm okay. It was just, what's wrong with you, boy? It's like, man, ain't nothing wrong with me, man. Like the path that I'm choosing, yes, I understand the sacrifice. Yes, I know I can do a little more. But man, I'm trying to, the life that I'm imagining, you know what I'm saying? A person who wants to live a $80,000 life or $100,000 life is going to be completely different from a person who's trying to get to $500,000 or $1 million.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like those are completely different goals, and you have to understand that. And so, you know, I don't really go through it much now because now they see the successes in my life. So they're like, oh, okay, great job. But you will never get that great job and pat on the back when you're going through it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Nah, I can really relate to that because, for example, man, I had my little girl when I was 15, right? One, that's already looked bad on me. Yeah. I'm a young parent. Throw in on top of that, I dropped out of high school so I could start working. You know, I was having a kid, so I was like, fuck, I gotta start working. So now I'm getting all these looks. All the odds were stacked against me, you know what I'm saying? And it was definitely difficult at the beginning, man. Like the first, I guess you said the first year before my little girl was born, like it was tough. You know, getting criticized by family, friends. Excuse me, like a bunch of people had like that. I was labeled in their eyes even before officially being a dad, like, and holding my daughter. I was already labeled a deadbeat dad. I was already labeled all these negative things, right? So once I had my little girl, it's like, man, I'm about to prove everybody wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while, in like the first couple years, like even when she was born, it's like, oh, it's just a little kid taking care of another kid. Like that's all the comments I would get. Never know like, oh, good job, no recognition, right? It was just like, you know. But now it's the story's flipped. Now that everyone's seen as she's gotten older, she's about to be 8, and they've seen the very like mature, very caring and loving daughter that I have. Now they're like, okay, now I start getting like some of that that back. So I see what you're saying, bro. Like those first few years, again, it's a sacrifice that you put in, but that's good, man. I have a question for you though. It's a random question, but it's a question I gotta ask because it just hit me in my head that I ask every single guest, which is if there's one piece of advice that is either your favorite piece of advice that has ever been given to you, you learned, you just read, what would it be?
Boy, that's so much. Shoot, I ain't got a favorite. It's just whatever come out.
If you had to pick one, I always have my top 2. Like I have a lot, but one of mine I had to get it tatted on my arm, which is tomorrow's never promised. Like I love that. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot more that I feel you. There's just so much good advice out there. But if you had to just randomly choose one, what would it be?
Man, it would have to be, I would keep it simple, man. It's nothing deep. Be proud of what you have accomplished.
Okay.
You know, I understand with the hardships of life. I understand the journey of trying to get to wherever you're trying to get to. Or if you don't even know, man, a lot of times you're just never proud of yourself. And I've realized at one point in time in my life, every time I made a goal and I achieved it, I never appreciated it. It was like, okay, I'm here now. What's the next one? You know what I'm saying? To where it was like, it got to the point to where I was like, man, I never feel happy about nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be proud of yourself.
I like that. No, I think that's a deep one. And shout out my boy Damon and Phoenix. They're gonna love that you said that because that's something that we've all. I bring them over. They're my brothers. They're the ones that live here with me. We've all had that issue because we're very like ambitious, man. Like, you know, we got our clothing, we make music. I got my podcast. One of them is a barber. Like we all got a lot of shit going on, you know. But it's like we do so much, and it's like you said, like we recognize it, and it's okay. We keep going, like next thing. But we've never like hit the brakes and sat down and like, damn, like pat ourselves on the back, like, man, good shit. Like I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you got this far, and you've done this. Like look where you're starting. Look where you're at. Like it was up until again like this year, 2022 has just been a whole different year for all three of us. But it's been one of those years where like now we've stepped back and looked like, damn, you've came a long way, and we all individually like, you know, daily are telling ourselves like different affirmations and shit, like trying to keep our spirits high and whatnot. But I love that you said that, man. I think a lot of people are too hard on themselves. And I think it gets to a point where you're too hard on yourself that I think it even begins to have a negative effect on you.
Correct.
So and that's an issue that we all individually battled last year, where we were way too hard on ourselves to the point where like it had, instead of a positive outcome, because at the beginning it's like, okay, good, you're pushing yourself, and it's like, damn, like you almost never feel satisfied, and at one point you're just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So I love that you said that, bro. It's like you said, it's a simple one, but low key still kind of a deep one too, right, how you perceive it. But I fuck with it though. But going back to the whole topic, I'll hit you with another question. I know on that same podcast from Kevin Gates, he mentioned something, and I want your thoughts on it. But he was talking about energies again. And he was talking about even whenever you have intercourse with somebody, you're exchanging energies at that point.
Correct.
You know, and that's why he doesn't fuck around no more. Because
well, it should be because he's married. But okay.
Yeah.
What's his reason?
No, but like he don't fuck around no more because you know, there's times where you can meet let's just say a female.
Okay.
And you meet her at a club, so you get a little one night stand in. But this female may not be a good female. She may not be a good person. So you know, you don't know that though, but you take her home, you know, y'all do y'all's thing, but she's already full of bad energy, and now you have intercourse with her, so now like that bad energy rubs off on you. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think when I seen it and I heard it, I was like, I can see what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I genuinely fuck with it.
All right. So when it comes down to that, man, like I said, you got to break it all the way down to the molecular. So let's look at energies, man. So you are what you eat. You are what you surround yourself with, and eventually, your body will distribute that across your entirety. To where if you saturated yourself in a certain type of presence or a certain type of thought for so long, your body will emit that wave. And so your mind emits waves. That is how people can go around people and be like, "You feel all right? you just disturbed. You okay?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of people we are.
Yeah.
We absorb vibrations and waves. And so it's the same in that sense, but it's deeper in that sense because let's mention the semen. So when you release that sensation, you're releasing a lot of the necessities that the body needs in order to function and to over exceed. So if I remember correctly, so when a man releases, it is equivalent to running, I believe, if I remember correctly, 18 or 22 miles.
Damn.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Because you're releasing, because all that semen has the proteins, the sugars, it's everything. And not only that, when it comes down to a spiritual level, you're releasing about 30% of your life force. You know what I'm saying? So that is why as soon as you release, you immediately shut down. Because like I said, it's the equivalent to running. And so when it comes down to that and y'all are that close and y'all are exchanging, like I say, imagine it being like the sun. When you get close to that sucker, man, you're going to feel the heat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same. So yeah, man, there's definitely an exchange of energies. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's happy all the time,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And y'all get close and y'all do all that stuff. Eventually later on, your body's going to break it down, spread it throughout. And you're like, man, why do I feel happy all of a sudden?
Yeah.
It's because of that person you was just around.
Yeah. Birds will feather flock together.
Exactly.
But nah. And so, okay, given that you brought up semen, what do you feel are your thoughts on semen retention?
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Popping all the time is not good.
Yeah.
Because like I said, those are needs of the body that
For
you're
sure.
constantly releasing.
For sure.
But I understand why people do it. But, well, I'll put it like this. I understand why people do it on a consistent basis. More than likely, it's because of stress relief or help to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Or just whatever. But a lot of times, it's those main two. That's the main reason why people smoke, why people drink. But when you do that, you're operating on low frequencies. So when you look at the chakras, the main two kinds of people that look at the chakras are the Hindus and the Buddhists. And so we have 7 different chakras, the lowest one being the root and the highest one being the crown. And the one that the Egyptians like to speak of the most would be the eye. And so, but there's still the other 4 that's within you. And so the lowest 3 are the ones that most people tend to have the struggle with. I don't remember their names, but it would be the root, and then it would come up, and then right here would be the navel. So as you were saying earlier, when it comes down to the foods, people have such a hard time, not even just semen retention, but even just retention and controlling the things that they eat. Like people have such a hard time telling themselves no. You know, what makes a person's spirit strong? What makes a person considered a peaceful man? What makes a person considered a bold person? It's when they've had so many opportunities to not be bold, so many opportunities to not be at peace, but they still chose it. You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
that.
And
Yeah.
when you come to that person and they begin to speak, you can feel the power behind their voice. You can feel the power behind their spirit because they have always chosen to deny self to increase the spirit. There's one person called Dr. Malachi Z. York, and he has a book called The Holy Tablets. And within there, he goes on to say spiritual death comes from overexertion of emotions. Children are a prime example. The only thing that they live by is the pleasures of the body. That's why they're so overhyped when it comes down to food, candy, and games. But what does that look like in an adult? Oh, it looks like playing games excessively. It looks like going to the club excessively. It looks like hanging out with your friends and constant denial of doing things that empower the self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like when it finally grows up. And so now you become spiritually dead or spiritually numb. You can't understand things that are actually being told to you, and you can't see the power behind it because all you see is the things of the physical body. So the body works in three different realms, but I'm just going to talk about two, which will be the spirit or energies, and then it will be the physical. So now, what does happiness look like? A lot of times we'll relate happiness to a smile on the face, but how many times have we walked around with a smile on our face, but we were feeling dead on the inside? But because people are so dumb and become so numb, they can't even see behind the face that you're giving, or they can't even see behind the face of the devil. You know what I'm saying? The devil looks great. The devil operates in a light, a false light. And
For sure.
so since we cannot see the spiritual things, now we have to look at it like, what does it look like when it finally manifests itself in the physical? So we all know that happiness and sadness and anger, it doesn't have a physical form, but what does it look like when it finally breaks into our third dimensional eye, and then we can finally see it? What does it look like? You know what I'm saying? In other words, let's just say my hand is happiness, but we can't see it. But this shirt would be the physical world. So now it begins to break through, and we're like, oh, look, there goes happiness. But sometimes happiness can take a different form, but a lot of times you won't see it. That's called reading in between the lines. And so once you begin to understand how to look and see these things and sit back and strengthen your spirit, then you'll be able to understand other spiritual things and other spiritual frequencies. But you have to understand and gain control of all of your energies to where you can be able to see those things. So this would just be a small example. Those spiritual energies do not only take form behind the person, but sometimes it can take the form behind actual objects. So let's just say I'm trying to overtake you. And so what I would do is I would get to know you and understand the things that you're weak in, and then I would end up empowering or imbuing, like, let's just say little signs or whatever. I may say like, hey, come over to this store. I have a 50% off deal on, I don't know, mics. And you're like, oh, Zap, I need that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But truly behind that is, what I'm really saying is, waste all your money on me so I can be greater than you, and then eventually I'll buy out your company. You know what I'm saying? That's actually the spiritual power behind it.
Yeah.
But it's just hiding behind a falseness because people a lot of times only see with their physical eye.
I love that, bro. I really love everything you said. And I think, again, I'm starting to read more into it, learn more about all this right now. And I always try to be open-minded as possible. Like, I'll never sit here and be a closed-minded individual. Like, I'm open-minded to a lot of things. And I love that you said that, because one of the things that, I was recently reading, like you said, there's energies behind everything. There can be objects as well. So same thing with music. Like, I know there's times where there's certain music that, the frequency that they're giving off, like, everything is measured. I want to say it's in hertz, right?
Yes.
And so there's certain hertz that will really like fuck with your energy or your spirit throughout the day, which is so crazy. Like I said, it's something that I wish people could really like look into and really start educating themselves, because it really does change your perspective a lot in life. Like, like I promise you, like, I've gone to a point now where I don't let no one faze me now. And what I mean by that is, like, if someone were to, like, let's say I'm at a bar random dude is just trying to get under my skin. And he's like, man, fuck your mom. What's most people gonna do? Man, don't talk about my mom.
Correct.
I'd be like, yeah, man. Me personally, I'd be like, man, honestly, yeah, fuck that bitch. Like, I don't even fuck with her. Like, dead ass. Like, just because I'm not gonna give him the ability to get in the driver's seat of my feelings and my emotions, because it's like you said, the devil's sometimes, in plain sight. And that right there to me is like, anyone can say anything, right? Oh, you a deadbeat dad. Yeah, honestly, I probably am the worst. I ain't gonna go. Like, I'm gonna go with it. And even though it may somewhat bother me inside, I would just never express that to the other person, like ever let them know. So it's little things like that I've worked on throughout these last few months, like to really like change my mind and really train it to like not get bothered. Like, I got my energy, this is my area right here, I'm gonna put a shield around it. All that negative shit just gonna bounce right off of me. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's hard work though. It ain't gonna come overnight. Like, it's something that you really got to put a lot of attention to. A lot of, again, practicing, applying shit. But going on to, I know you tapped into spiritual, little spiritual talk too. Have you ever considered doing any like DMT or shrooms?
No.
Because have you heard about DMT before?
DMT, no.
Okay, so DMT, it's this drug, right? It's a hallucination. Oh, it makes you hallucinate. My bad.
Hallucinogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's like shrooms, right? Shrooms, people do it, but they do it the incorrect way. Like, once you really look into shrooms and read about it, there's a proper way of doing it. And you'd want to be in a setting where you're out in nature, first off. And second, you're going to want to meditate. If you're with anyone, like it's a group of you guys or just even another person, both of y'all meditate and both of y'all got to take the shrooms. It's not, you can't take the shrooms and then the other person, y'all both got to take the shrooms. You take all the proper steps to shrooms and do it the right way. It's supposed to help release gases in our brain that you can't release in your normal state of mind. So it really helps you tap into your soul, into your spirit. And a lot of times when people come off of the high, now they see life in a whole different perspective, and most of the time it's in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? They self-reflect throughout their as they're hallucinating, they self-reflect on a lot of things. But again, once they come to their five senses again, spiritually, it's like they had a cleansing.
Yes. And
same thing with DMT. Now DMT is a lot deeper and a lot worse than that, because it's shit's that it's I want to say, no bullshit, they get it off of a frog, if I'm not bullshitting. It's like I don't know if it's like a liquid that they get off of it, and you smoke it pretty much.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
You can take it as drops as well too.
Yeah.
And I've seen it done like and through videos like in like foreign countries and shit. And it's crazy because they'll do a whole little ritual and shit. And as soon as whether you take the drops or you smoke it, like that person, like a couple of seconds later, it's like eyes rolled back and they just fall, and they're out for like, man, probably like a couple minutes. But to them, as they're hallucinating, it feels like for some people almost a whole lifetime. There's been people that have said that have done it before. They see like ancestors that talk to them and shit. Like it's a whole deep fucking like high that they get. And it's something that I've always been real curious with. Like, I've done shrooms when I was younger, but I never did it the proper way. So that's something that eventually I would want to do, but do it the right way. And same thing with DMT. Honestly, it's something that I'm very curious over too, because things like that, man, I feel like again, our brain is just so powerful, and I know that there is certain gases in our mind that can get released with the help of some of these drugs, and can really help with your spirit, you know what I'm saying, cleansing it out, or just giving you a whole different outlook on life in general. And it's just something that I've always been interested though.
For me, man, I I'm not gonna say I'm with it. I'm not gonna say I'm against it. I've never done any drugs before,
Not
but
even you never smoked weed?
oh well, yes, I forgot because I tried it for like 3, 4 times only because I had the CBD
Yeah,
store,
yeah,
and I was like, I might as well try since I got the
yeah.
store. But I
Got you.
mean, when I had it, I mean, when I did it, it did absolutely nothing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't like the taste and all that other stuff. But like I say, I'm not with it. I'm not against it. If there are positive effects to it, then if anything, I'm more on board for it. But for myself, I'm a strong believer of before you even get to doing
Yeah.
anything like that, be able to do those things for yourself.
Mm,
Because if anything, then you're going to become dependent on that
yeah.
and you can't do it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So it's like, I don't know.
I get what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
like, for example, I know recently another thing that I've been practicing. I do it before I go to sleep. Actually, is certain breathing mechanisms
Oh, yeah.
that help you tap into, like, let's just say, like your third eye or whatever.
Hmm.
But it really like, how can I explain? The feeling is amazing. Honestly, if you do it and you're able to get it the right way through a lot of practice and shit, when you're laying there, it's like you start doing these breathing mechanisms, and eventually it's like your mind just gets focused on your heartbeat, and it's like all you hear is
Hmm.
just your heartbeat. And then eventually you go into like a deeper state to where like now it's just like you're like in your conscious per se. And you just get into like these deep thoughts and whatnot. But I see what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
Like if you're able to do it on your own, I agree with you.
Right.
I
I
agree with
mean,
you.
yeah, like I said, I don't completely disagree with it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I know for my meditations, like I'm perfectly fine. I can fall into my trance state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and be perfectly fine. When it comes down to speaking with ancestors, a lot of times, most times, I've never had had an encounter with an ethereal being while being awake. A lot of times, it's when I'm asleep.
Mm.
But some people can do it when they're awake. For me, I haven't experienced that I can remember when I was awake. No, actually, yeah, I have.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like lucid dreams then that you be having.
Boy, some of these dreams they don't feel like dreams, man.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Goodness.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah. Technically, yeah.
yeah. So that's why like so that's what got me into doing like these breathing mechanisms
Hmm.
recently, like right before sleep, because it's supposed to help. Eventually you fall asleep, but it helps you have lucid dreams though. So, you know, once you're able to take control of your dreams, oh, dude, I heard like you can like have some of the craziest dreams ever.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
fly, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like it's crazy as shit. Um, you you into zodiac signs and all that? Like, do you believe in that kind of stuff?
How it's used today, no.
No. Okay.
But do I believe there's a realness and a power to it? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go? You don't gotta go super in depth, but you want to go and
So, like I was saying earlier, man, it's just like how every word is rooted to some type of deity, a god, planetary system, or or some type of star that's outside in the world. And many times you get that from the Greeks, Egyptians, Samaritans, or some people that actually claim themselves as gods. They all relate everything to these stars, planets, and systems.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I don't find that strange. So if you look at a lot of the words that we use today, most of these words are ancient old words. And why is that? Because they're gaining that word is getting its power from whatever it was attached to. And then a lot of the words that we have today is just pieced together of old ancient words to let you know what it actually means. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, when you don't know etymology or the origins of words, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to get where it's going to come from. So a lot of times the only reason why I'm using the ram is because I'm in Aries.
okay,
So a lot of it, I believe I'm not sure if I'm getting it confused with the Greeks or the Egyptians, but I believe it's the Egyptians. They put the ram amongst Mars. And so if you look at Mars and you break down Mars, So depending on which form that you're trying to use it in, if you're looking at Mars in an inverted form, or in a Luciferian way, because the Luciferians work in inversion, then Mars would represent wars. And what happens at the end of wars, it becomes a desolate and discrete place. And if you look at how Mars is now, it is desolate and all voids forms of life. And so if you look at it in a satanic way, the Satanist moves in the form of reverse. And so you can learn that from Anton LaVey. He's the one who created the modern Satanist church of today. And they move on everything on the reverse. If you look at Mars in the reverse, take the S off it, now it becomes Ram. You know what I'm saying? And so now you have to look at how the Ram moves and how it does. You know what I'm saying? It's a creature to where it moves alone, it does all this stuff, and then it fights. And now if you take off the M of it, now you get Ra, who is Ra, the Egyptian deity, god of the sun. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a lot into it. You know what I'm saying? When you truly break it down.
Yeah.
And so I believe in zodiacs in that form.
Gotcha.
Because now it comes from somewhere, and not only does it come from somewhere, it's been followed, and it shows its proof. You know what I'm saying? In our physical eye. I like things like that. But I don't like what we're doing nowadays. Oh, I'm a Gemini, so that's why I got two personalities. That's not the reason why you got two personalities. You got demons. That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah, they're like, no bullshit. I kid you not. A lot of females, because I'm, a lot younger, so, I'm with the younger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's ridiculous. Like, some of these females will literally ask you, what's your zodiac sign? You tell them, they're like, I can't fuck with you.
I had that happen to me.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We was talking for 3 months, and as soon as I told her my sign, she completely left. And I'm like, so you're gonna let that little grain of salt make you forget about everything we just been through? Nah, I don't like that.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's. I see what you're saying. No, I've never really gotten too deep into it, so I won't even try to even talk about it. But I mean, I've always found it, interesting. Like I said, I'm very open minded, so I'll probably start reading into it, just because I like to. I will eventually like to get to that point, like what you said, man. I love that. I don't know everything. It's a little bit about a lot. I love that phrase. It's, and I could tell that from you. Like I said, off camera, dude. I love the way you structure what you're saying. The vocabulary, everything, man. I could tell you're very educated, bro. Just by how you speak and carry yourself. So I love that. But nah. Anything else you wanna add in, bro? Any last few comments or anything?
Yeah. So, man, when it comes down to life, man, if you want to understand life and understand where you want to go in life, first you gotta understand yourself, and then you gotta and what I mean by yourself, man, you gotta understand the way how your body is trying to talk to you, so you can understand how to work with it, and then increase your own personal energies. You know what I'm saying? And even breaking it down even more, man, you gotta understand your endocrine system. You got to understand your adrenal glands. You got to understand why you feel the things that you feel, and you got to understand how your mind is trying to interpret certain things to make you go about life. So many of us, I see the world has been changing, and a lot of people have been waking up to a lot of things, but I want to make sure that y'all understand about the law of attraction and the laws of return. If you look up the laws of return right now, you're gonna have to do a little bit more deeper research of the laws of return, because it's going to talk about Israel coming back to its land, but there's a deeper meaning behind the law of return. It's actually just karma. So many of us will agree that the world does lie to us.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we can also agree that the world does tell us the truth about a lot of things. When we look at movies and stuff like that, they may say a phrase and you like, that you wasn't just saying that, you know what I'm saying? There was something behind that.
For sure.
Why is that? That is called the law of return. And what that means is, actually, before I get into that, because I had misstructured it. So you have to look at the 42 laws of Mayat. Mayat is an old Egyptian deity god, and basically he was the embodiment of love, justice, and the cosmic order. And so basically, he would weigh your heart. And if you have a heavy heart, as we know the term of today. Man, you have a heavy heart.
Yeah.
That's actually an old term referring to, if you have a heavy heart, that means that basically you was an evil ass person. You was a hater. You was living in all sorts of forms of ways. And so, but in the Libra scale, there would be a feather, and then there would be a heart. If your heart was heavier than the feather, then that would mean that you were very conscious to not just yourself, but unto others. And if you look at the 42 laws of Maya, you'll also begin to understand where the 10 commandments ended up coming from. And so now, why did I say that? Once you have a good order of yourself and your insides and how your body is talking to you, then you can understand about the laws of attraction. The reason why I had brought up etymology earlier about breaking down the words or the origin of words is because every word gains its power from something. And so now you have to understand incantations and imbuing. Now, a lot of times we look at the word incantation related to witchcraft, but it's nothing like that. Incantations is just like prayer. So if you're out here meditating and praying to yourself and you're over here like, okay, yes, Lord bless me with wisdom. I need understanding. I need knowledge. I need peace in my life. You're speaking incantations over yourself. You're imbuing yourself with the powers that you are trying to attract amongst yourself by speaking these words. And when you're speaking these words to yourself, you must speak them in a certain order and in a proper order. So you have to understand the words that you're saying and the origin of the words of where they're coming from. If we look at the word demo, we can understand that is actually a very old word. You got Democrats, you know what I'm saying? And then we have demons. You get what I'm saying? So why is it that Democrats and demons are breaking down into these certain words? You know what I'm saying? Let's look at the calendar and understand why the calendar that we're using is completely off. So I'm going to ask you some words that I know you know. When it comes down to math, what is oct? Or the
I just started seeing shit about this, bro. How my bad to cut you off, but
it's okay.
there's technically 13 months in a year, and the beginning of the year is supposed to be in
April.
I think it's April, right? Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. So if you look at the months, you got Sept, which is 7, Oct, which is 8, Nov, which is 9, Dec, which is 10. So tell me why September is the 9th.
Yeah.
Tell me why October is the 10th.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And so you have to break down history and understand why history had ended up moving the way how it's moving. You have to understand why history is the way how it is and how we got to where we are. The only reason the calendar that we're predominantly using now is the Julius calendar. And we all know who Julius Caesar is, and he also has a brother, which is Augustus Caesar. And so if you look at their names, if you take the Leus off of Julius, you get July. He put his name within the calendar, thus adding more to it. And then he didn't want to forget his brother. We got Augustus. So if you take off the Thos, we got August.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So we have the Julius calendar. And then there's many different calendars. There's the solar calendar. There's the lunar calendar. There's the Gregorian calendar. And then there's the Julius calendar of what we have today. And if I'm correct, I believe the Ethiopians, they go off the lunar calendar, and they're actually in 2014.
Yeah, so that's so crazy. I'm telling you, I want to say I saw it on TikTok, bro. It was a video of a guy. He went and traveled to like some country, and he was asking them what year it was, and dude pulled out his phone, and it was I want to say it was 2014, or it was just like way back. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy ass shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So I say these things because when you begin to understand the words that you speak, and you'll understand frequencies and all that stuff, then you'll understand how to empower yourself. You'll understand how to naturally draw things and how to push things away, because everything has a magnetism. Everything has some type of pulling force towards it. And whatever you're charged with is what you're going to either naturally pull or push away from you. So there is a reason why you're not obtaining the things that you wish to obtain, or there's a reason why you keep attracting the same things that are coming within your life. It's not necessarily that you're failing some test that some higher deity is trying to give you. It's not necessarily that. It's just that you're constantly doing and saying the same things, and probably you're not understanding the power of the words that you're really saying. And so it's drawing the same things constantly over and over and over to you. And so sometimes you got to step outside of yourself. I like what you were saying earlier when it came down to energies of eating the food.
Yeah.
Like everything is an energy. Your body is a sponge. You know what I'm saying? You eat the apple, you're going to obtain the energies of the apple. You eat a cow, you're going to obtain the energies of that cow. Now me, I'm vegan. You know what I'm saying? I don't like eating meats and animal. Well, I don't like eating animal products.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because one, like I say, I like to break down the body, and they say that we're omnivores. I don't necessarily believe that, because when you look at the structure of us, like they do this with anything. So when they find an animal that's been dead for, I don't know, however long, they'll look at the teeth, they look at the bones, they'll see the teeth, they're like, oh, okay, he got sharp teeth, this is what he ate. And then when you look at the intestinal system of animals that have sharp teeth, their intestinal system is a lot smaller than ours. You know what I'm saying? Their natural breakdown is a lot smaller than ours. But when you look at everything with flat teeth like us, we have the same intestinal system just like how a lot of them have.
That's crazy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I say, man, you have to look outside of you to understand what's going on within you. You know, so a lot of us were putting in things in us that shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing I want to say is understand your own blood and your own history of things. Don't let people tell you what you should and should not believe, or follow this and follow that. Because when it comes down to a lot of these religions, man, a lot of them are really all talking about the same thing. It's just that they all happen in different regions. And because a lot of the language breakdown is so messed up and misconstrued, you don't really understand a lot of times of what they're saying. How is it that there's so many different forms of Jesus, but yet they're all talking about the same thing? If you look at Hinduism is older than Christianity, but yet a lot of the things that they said and did is the exact same thing. Because Krishna, he was a king, but he was believed to be the reincarnation of Vishnu, which is an old god. And then if you look at a lot of the sayings of what Jesus said, he said a lot of the same things of what Gandhi said. And Gandhi is 500 years older than him. A lot of what Jesus said is exactly what Gandhi said, but it's just in different forms and different words. And same thing when it comes down to Horus. Horus would be the Egyptian deity Horus was the exact form and did the exact same thing. He had 12 followers. He did all this the exact same way how Jesus did it. Now we could either say that they're lying and stealing each other's stories, or we could just say, we can go ahead and believe this and probably say that it probably was the same person, just probably reincarnating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For those of us that do believe in reincarnation and incarnations. You know what I'm saying? So you understand your bloodline and your history of a lot of this stuff. Because the things that they tell you that you should not be doing is probably the exact same things that you should be doing. Because I knew when I when I was growing up, a lot of people was saying like, man, don't follow that Egyptian stuff. Don't do this, don't do that, because a lot of that is witchcraft. But when a lot of times when you break it down, they were actually just talking about life. And a lot of the symbols that they use is actually the symbols that is within inside of you. Like the eye of Ra, that's the pineal gland. If you cut it open, it looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they would have skulls, but the skulls actually represented the scarab. And the scarab, if you look at that, it has 3 parts. If you look at the skull, it has 3 parts. It has this part and then a split in the back. But that scarab, it has the exact same part and it looks exactly like a skull. A lot of the symbols that they were using, man, they weren't just making stuff up. They was actually representing something. It represented life, and it looks like the Ankh. Just like the Ankh, it has a little circle and then the cross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That represents life and fertility of the woman. The woman has her opening, and then when she opens her legs up for the man to come in, that's what it represents. Why would I not want to represent that? But sure. You want me to represent a cross that represents death.
Dude, when it comes to religion, I've always growing up, I mean, I only had my mom, so she never took me and my sisters to church, man. She was always busy working, supporting us, right? So the very first time I want to say I stepped foot into church wasn't until 2014 ish. So I was 14 at the time, some shit like that, man. I was a young kid though, and I never really got into it even when I went for those 2-3 years. It was interesting, But you know, I can't even sit here and probably name, but like maybe at most like 5 people from the Bible. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm not nowhere near educated in that area, but it has a name to it, and even if I try to I'm gonna get it wrong, but I do believe in a higher power for sure. I just don't believe in religion, and reason being is because me being someone that never grew up Catholic or Christian or anything along those lines, and just seeing everything from an outsider's point of view. You know, I have family members that are Catholic, some family members that are Christian. I have, you know, just people that I know that are Jehovah's Witnesses, and you know, these different religions and shit. And if I were to grab one person of each religion, sit them down individually, they're all gonna give me their reasons why I should follow their religion. Theirs is the right one to follow, right? So being an outsider, right, and I see that, and knowing that there's hundreds of different religions,
Right.
to me it's like, then which one do I really choose? If every person in that religion is going to tell me reasons why theirs is the right one, and that's the one I should follow, then being an outsider is like, damn, everyone's telling me the same shit but they're all different. Then to me it's just like, that's what it throws me off.
Correct.
So
And I completely agree, man. When it comes down to religions and stuff like that, man, they're always going to, many of them are going to give you something that's based on faith, hypothesis, theology, or I believes, or I thinks.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I don't follow none of that stuff. Because, man, you have a mind, man. Like, I believe that there are stronger powers.
for sure.
And I do believe that there is a power that is over that stronger power.
Yeah.
And so, how could I put it, man? Like I always say, man, you gotta look at everything as a whole and see how it all came to form.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like languages, all this stuff, and see how it all came to form, and see how people talk. Like many people will say that they believe in other life, you know, which is definitely true. Now look at how others represented that life or talked about it. Like even in Egyptian hieroglyphics, you will see that they're saying, hey, look, man, there's other people living here. You know what I'm saying? If they saying, hey, there's other people here 3,000 years ago, and you go somewhere on another part of the world, let's just say, you know, I don't know, just some Australia, you see some old hieroglyphics there, and they like, hey, yo, other people living here. And they said that 5,000 years ago. And you see something maybe more modern, 1,000 years ago, and they like, hey, there's other people living here. My brother, there's other people living here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've been saying this for thousands of years.
For sure.
So just because you don't see it in your physical eye, it doesn't mean it's not there. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to these beliefs, man, dog, like, have a reason why you believe it.
For sure.
Like, don't ever just move on something on just a hypothesis. Even when it comes down to science don't move on hypothesis. They look at it like, okay, I believe this can happen because of blase and blasa.
For sure.
Let's test it out first. If it happens, we got ground to stand on.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you should live. And the reason why I'm not going to say I'm completely against the Bible. It does have truths in there, because it has many things in there that other people have been saying for years. You know what I'm saying? So it does have truths in there, but I'm not going to listen to something that says, you know, there's many things where it tells you to deny your very own senses, where it's like, lean not to thine own understanding, but unto God. Okay, so I can't listen to myself. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Another famous verse in there says, walk by faith, not by sight. So now I got to deny the very things that I'm saying just to walk by something that's just telling me something.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, I feel you. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's too much stuff in there that's telling you don't listen to yourself. And then there's another thing in there, I believe it's in Romans, it'll say, don't take revenge upon yourself. Revenge is mine. This is God talking to the people. And it's like, Dang, so you want me to pray for my enemies that they do good.
Yeah.
You want me, if they beat me up, you want me to, how's it go? If they slap you on, if they slap you on the cheek, turn the other cheek. There we go. So if they beating me up, I'm supposed to just let them. I can't hurt them. I can't do nothing. And whatever my emotions is telling me, deny myself.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, no, I feel you. And that's why, again, to me, like, I don't, everyone does what they want to do. And like you said, man, anyone that follows, like, a certain religion is I tip my hat off to them. Just one thing that I've always, always said is, like, let's say Christians, like, what's one thing that it says is only God can judge me. Some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, I've had this happen to me, and this is certain things like this that's made me really never get, I guess, too involved with churches or really anyone that was too religious, was because the times like I would try to go to church, right? They see a young kid, earrings, tattoos or something, and instantly like, he doesn't belong here. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be here. They start looking at you crazy. But to me, it's like, if you're someone that's full of faith and you believe in God and he's supposed to be the only one that can judge me, then to me, it's like, you can't judge nobody, right? And there's certain people that may look a certain way, right? They may come into a church, they look all thugged out, right? You don't know what that person's gone through, and they may genuinely be trying to change their life. And you're sitting there judging them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what does that say about you and your character? So it's just like a lot of shit, like a lot of people that are very religious that I feel like are very contradicting within themselves and their beliefs that they're supposed to have. So, I mean,
man, they very contradicted, man. Like, when I speak with these Christians a lot of times, and the only reason why I'm talking about them a lot is because that's just one of the main religions now. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible is like still the number one selling. So like, man, there's so many contradictions in there, man. There's one, he goes on to say that no man has seen the face of God. But now if you look at, so what did Adam and Eve see when they was in the garden? What did their son see when God came and was like, hey, Cain, where's your brother? Who was he talking to? And then now let's go to Abraham. It says in the book, it goes on to say, Abraham came to visit, God came to visit Abraham with his two entourage and sat down and ate with them. But before he ate with them, Sarah was cooking bread for them. So tell me this, how many people have come to your house, waited for food to be made, and you didn't see their face?
I feel you, hell yeah.
And then the Bible will go on to say the word Elohim. That is a Hebraic word, and they'll say it just means God, when actually that is completely wrong. Elohim, El means God. Him is a whole nother explanation. So if I say El Jefe, that means the boss. You know what I'm saying? So this here, El Him. Him is plural, just like how we add the S at the end. Cats. Okay, so he's referring to more. Him is plural, so it means gods. But hold on, Christians only believe in one. So why does your book say multiple? You see what I'm saying? There's something that they're not getting about their own book. I know this because I used to follow that stuff very hard. But at the same time, I know a lot. I know a lot of Christians are going through this because I went through it, to where you have a lot of questions and you see contradictions towards yourself. Towards what you believe. But you're like, I'm just gonna hold on to my faith. No, man, listen to yourself. For sure. That's not this. Don't let what these people are telling you, man, cause you to deny your own thoughts, your own self, man. Put your stuff to the test, because within your own book, it goes on to say, a kingdom divided amongst itself cannot stand. If you're divided amongst your own inner thoughts, you can't stand on nothing. Because now you like, man, left to right. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, if there's a contradiction, you need to stand on something. That's why I believe on straight facts and science. You know what I'm saying? That's why I prove and break down everything and speak the way how I speak, because there is a reason why it's going on like this. There's a reason why we can't understand the things that they were doing back then, because a lot of the things that we're doing just isn't just it isn't in its natural form, and it's going against the earth. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, man, I could keep on going, but man, it's
for sure.
It's just a lot.
No, I feel you. I think everything, like I said, man, sitting here, bro, I feel like I learned a lot myself today. Again, I got educated. I like to call, certain facts or things, I like to call them gems. So, for all the viewers watching this episode, man, for sure, full of the most gems ever. Like, you could put all my past 27 videos together and it still won't accumulate to the amount of gems that were dropped in this one. Trust me, like, anyone that watched this far, man, if I'm sitting here across from Jamal and I'm telling you that I learned a thing or two right now, I'm telling you, y'all probably learned about a thing or two as well, because it's a lot of information that was thrown out there, bro. And like I said, man, keep up with what you're doing. Stay up, bro. I see you, bro. I know whatever goals you have in mind for yourself and your family, I know you're the individual that will go out and achieve that shit, man. So good shit on that, man. And I'm glad that you came on here, bro. I know it's such a last minute thing, but bro, you came through clutch as fuck today. And man, this by far, no cap, by far my favorite episode, like for sure. So I appreciate having you. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to throw out there for the viewers before we cut it off.
I was thinking of what are some books that I could recommend.
3 Magic Words, bro. I'll send it to you. I'll show it to you when we cut it off. But it's a really good book, man. 3 Magic Words for sure.
I would say
48 Laws of Power. I've always told everyone to go read that one. I love that one.
48 Laws of Power. It's a good book.
Yeah.
It's good. Like I say, that book, shoot, it teaches you how to control. It teaches you how to control others and yourself. But like I say, I like 42. Well, 42 Laws of Maya. It's not even a book. It's just sayings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I were to compare the two, 42 Laws of Maya is how to control yourself.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Before you end up controlling and dealing with others.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, once you get yourself right,
yeah,
you have the 48 laws of power and more. But I would say, is it in my phone? I think I have it in my phone. Just give me 1 second.
Nah, you're good, Chief.
Because I want to make sure that I actually say it right.
Nah, you're good. You're gonna have to send me that though, the 42 that you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check those out. I love that, man. Like, again, man, I always like to consider myself like a student to life, and I like to consider my mind being a sponge, and I can always absorb as much information as I possibly can. And anytime I can sit down with someone like yourself, man, I'm always all ears, man.
There we go. America is the true old world. Mu discovered.
Mu discovered. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a quick briefing. The world used to have a lot more land. We had Atlantis and a whole bunch. I don't remember all the words. And then there's one that's not talked about, which is the land of Mu. That's in between Australia and New Zealand and Colombia. So South America. So to the left of South America, there was an old world there, and to the right of Australia, there was a land there. It's called the land of Mu. And when it's saying old world discovered, America being the true holy ground, we talk about Egypt a lot, and we look at it at just it being in Africa, but yet how many pyramids are there all over the world? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them is underwater. And so a lot of the totems and all the stuff, the little trinkets that they got, a lot of it actually came from the Grand Canyon. And if you look at the statues there, if you look at those statues, the statues of the ancient statues in China, ancient statues in the Hindu area, it's like, why do they all look the same? Why they all got the same hairstyle? Why they all doing the same positions? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a good book. So any of y'all that like to learn history and bloodline and ancient stuff, that's a very great book to read.
Hell yeah, definitely have to check that one out too then. Yeah, but no, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Honestly, like I said, you came in hella clutch. Dope ass episode in my opinion, my favorite so far. So shout out to Jamal, man. Probably have to bring you back for another one later on, bro.
It's all
For
good.
sure.
I'll do it.
For sure. But yeah, man, appreciate it.
Yeah.